$10. That's what the part costs. The one part that fails inside your air conditioner more than any other every single summer. $10 at a parts counter, less than that online. And the bill for putting it in? $200, $400. I have seen the paperwork run past $800 for the exact same $10 part. I spent 25 years in this trade, up in the attics and out in the backyards, working for the same companies I am about to tell you about. And I sat in the Monday morning meetings where we talked about this one little part like it was the whole summer's paycheck. Because for a lot of these companies, it is. So today I will show you what this part actually is, why it dies in the heat like clockwork, how to tell if yours is the real problem, and the 4 words that stop the sales pitch cold. Let's get into it. Here is how it usually goes, and see if this sounds familiar. It is the hottest Saturday of the year. It has been 95 degrees since noon. The unit outside is humming away. You can hear it running, but the air coming out of your vents is just warm. Not cold, warm. So you find the magnet on the fridge, call the number, and a nice young guy shows up a couple hours later. He pops the panel off the outside unit, looks in there for about 90 seconds, stands up, and says one word: compressor. Then he hands you a tablet with 3 prices on it, and even the cheapest repair on there starts with a 4. That is the moment this whole video is about. 9 times out of 10, on the hottest Saturday, it was never the compressor. It was a $10 part sitting 6 inches from where he was looking. So why does this one little part fail every summer, right when you need it most? It is called a capacitor, a little metal cylinder about the size of a soda can tucked down inside your outdoor unit. Its whole job is to give your motors a kick. Your air conditioner has motors that need a big jolt of energy to get spinning, more than the wall gives them on its own. The capacitor stores that jolt and hands it over the second the motor needs it. No kick, no spin. No spin, no cold air. That little can is filled with a thin film that breaks down a tiny bit every time it gets hot. And every scorching afternoon, when your system runs flat out for hours, it cooks a little more. So it fades, a little each summer, until one afternoon, the hottest one, it cannot push the motor over anymore, and the unit just sits there humming, going nowhere. That is not bad luck. That is a schedule. These parts fail in the heat because the heat is what wears them out, which means they fail in a whole lot of houses at once on the same brutal week when nobody has the patience to shop around. An entire industry's busiest, richest season is built on a $10 part failing exactly when it was always going to. And if a retired guy explaining the part they hoped you would never learn the name of is worth something to you, go ahead and subscribe. No upsell coming. Now, you can limp along on a weak capacitor for a while, and this is where it gets expensive, so stay with me. When it gets weak but has not fully quit, the motor still tries to run. It is not getting its full kick, so it pulls extra electricity to make up the difference. And a motor pulling extra electricity runs hot. Hotter than it was ever built to run. Do that for a few weeks, and the heat starts cooking the motor itself. Now you are not looking at a $10 part. You are looking at a fan motor, which is a few hundred. And if it takes out the big motor, the compressor, the one that actually pumps the cold, that is the heart of the whole system. That is the part that turns a $10 fix into a conversation about replacing the entire unit. $8,000, $10,000, $15,000. So the $10 part you ignore in the spring can take out the most expensive part in your house by the peak of summer. That is not a scare tactic. That is just what happens when a weak capacitor sits in there long enough. Now I need to be straight with you because a lot of the fix-it videos out there will not be straight with you. That $10 part is not a $10 job. When a real technician drives out, he has got a truck, insurance, a meter that cost him real money, and 20 years of knowing which part to look at. He tests it, swaps it, and warranties the work. And he did it on a Sunday in a heat wave when you needed it right now. That is worth money. $150 for that, even $200 with a warranty on a hot Sunday? I am not going to sit here and call that a scam. That is a man earning a living, and he earned it. So when you bring any of this up, your HVAC guy will tell you the part price is not the real cost. It is the truck and the training and the guarantee. And he is right. But he is right about 150, not 400. Not 400 with no meter reading, no warranty, and a brand new system quoted on the same visit. That is the line. On one side is a fair day's work. On the other is a sales department wearing a tool belt. So how did a whole industry end up on the wrong side of that line? It is not about the kid with the tablet. Over the last 10 years or so, big investment firms went around quietly buying up the local heating and air companies. The family shop your grandfather trusted, the one with the friendly name on the truck, a lot of them are not family shops anymore. They kept the friendly name, they kept the truck, but the people who own it now answer to investors who want the numbers to go up every single quarter. And here is how. They put the technicians on commission. That nice young guy at your door does not just get paid to fix your $10 part. He gets a cut of the repair and a much bigger cut if he sells you a whole new system. A lot of these places track it. Average ticket, replacement rate. Miss your numbers, you get the bad leads. The person you called to diagnose your air conditioner gets paid more the more expensive your problem turns out to be. He is not paid to find the $10 answer. He is paid to find a reason you need the $15,000 one. Now, it is not every company and it is not every tech. Plenty of good people are still out there turning wrenches honest. But the incentive is built into the machine now. Build a machine that pays a man to find the expensive answer, and you should not be shocked when he keeps finding it. And there is one line they are trained to use, so learn it right now and you will never get caught by it. The line is, your compressor is drawing too many amps. Over-amping, they call it. Sounds technical, sounds serious, sounds like new system money. Here is what they do not tell you. A compressor pulls too many amps for a whole list of reasons that have nothing to do with it being bad. A weak capacitor does it, the very problem we have been talking about. Dirty coils do it because the system cannot shed its heat. Low voltage from the power company on a hot afternoon does it. So a good technician, before he ever says the word replace, does three cheap things. He swaps that $10 capacitor, he cleans the coils, he checks the voltage, and then he reads the amps again. If somebody looks at a high amp reading and jumps straight to, you need a new system, without doing those first, you are not watching a diagnosis, you are watching a pitch. One more thing, and this one still gets me. Some of these companies will not even write the word capacitor on your bill. They will call it a voltage absorption system or an electrical overhaul, on purpose so that when you sit down that night to look it up, you cannot find it. You cannot look up a part they refuse to name. That is the point. So here is the one thing I want you to carry out of this whole video. If you remember nothing else, remember these 4 words. Show me the reading. Before you pay $1 for a capacitor, you say to the technician, show me the reading. Because there is a meter, every one of them carries it, that tells you exactly how strong that capacitor is. It reads out a number. And there is a number stamped right on the side of the part telling you what it is supposed to be. A healthy one reads within about 6% of that stamped number. If it is way under, it is bad, and you should pay to replace it, gladly. If it reads right on the number, that part is fine, and anybody telling you to replace it is reaching into your pocket. Show me the reading. If the tech happily turns the meter around and shows you, you have probably got an honest one. Tip him. If he gets annoyed or waves it off or says he just knows, that is your answer right there. You are not looking at a diagnosis. You are looking at a sales pitch, and now you can see it coming. This is not just about the one part anymore. While you have got that panel open, there are two more things in the exact same money chain running the exact same play. The first sits about 6 inches from the capacitor, and it is called the contactor. It is a switch that clicks on and off every time your unit runs. It wears out the same way, and get this, it is another $15 or $20 part that lands on the bill for a couple hundred. A weak capacitor wears it out faster, so these two often die together. If a tech is already swapping the capacitor, ask about the contactor too, and make him say the real price of each. The second one is free, and it is the coil, the mesh of thin metal fins wrapped around the outside of your unit. Over a summer, it packs full of grass clippings, dog hair, and dust. And a clogged coil, remember, is one of the things that makes your compressor pull too many amps. The exact reading they use to sell you a new system. So here is a free win, 15 minutes. Kill the power, grab a regular garden hose, and rinse those fins from the inside out until the water runs clean. That drops your amps and takes the most common overamping excuse off the table before anybody can use it on you. Okay, if you want to do the capacitor yourself, I will walk you through it, but I am going to slow way down right here because this is the one part of the whole thing where I need you to be careful. A capacitor stores electricity. That is its entire job. And it holds that charge for a long time after you cut the power. Hours, sometimes days. So you can shut everything off, walk out there sure that it is dead, touch the wrong two terminals, and that part will bite you hard. This is not the place to be a hero. So, power off at the breaker. Then power off at the disconnect box on the wall right next to the unit. Both of them, so there is no way it comes back on while your hands are inside. Then, before you touch a single wire, you take an insulated screwdriver and lay it across the two terminals to drain off whatever charge is left. That is the step people skip, and that is the step that matters. And honestly, if any of that made your stomach tighten, that is a good instinct, and you should listen to it. This is a perfectly fine one to hand to a professional. Just make him show you the reading and pay the fair $150, not the $400. Knowing the price is the whole game. Doing the labor is optional. If you are good to do it, here is the whole job. Power off, both places. Discharge it with the screwdriver. Then take out your phone and photograph the wires exactly as they sit so you know where each one goes back. Now read the numbers off the old part. It will say something like 45 and 5 and a voltage, probably 370 or 440. You buy the match. Same numbers. $10 to $25 at any parts supply house, less online. There is even a universal one the technicians carry, the Turbo 200. A little more, but it will likely outlive the air conditioner. Either way, wire it exactly like your photo, one wire at a time, put the panel back on, and flip the power on. Cold air, usually inside a minute. That is it. That is the $400 repair. $10 and about 20 minutes. And whether you do it yourself or call somebody out, the one thing that protects you is the same. Show me the reading. Whoever is holding the meter, make them turn it around. because once you can read that one little number, this part stops being a mystery they charge you $400 for and goes back to being a $10 can that gives your motor a kick. So go back to that hottest Saturday. The unit is humming, the air is warm, and the nice young guy is standing in your driveway, tablet in hand, the word compressor in his mouth. Except this time, you are not reaching for your wallet. This time you fold your arms and you say 4 words. Show me the reading. And you watch his whole afternoon change. Do me one favor. In the comments, tell me what you got charged for a capacitor and what the part actually cost once you looked it up. Put the 2 numbers side by side. I read every one, and some of them will make the rest of us gasp. I'm Ray Dutton. Keep your cool, and I'll see you in the next one.